Hey yo, Wayne, this is dope.
It's Shay Styles, and we're back this time to talk about pattern designs. Have you ever seen some gorgeous patterns either on sweaters or blankets, and you wonder, how in the world did they create that? Well, today I'm going to show you how to create your own pattern using Tunisian crochet. We're gonna start off by using Google Sheets. If you have Excel, you can use Excel. That's typically what I do to use to create my own patterns. So far, I've created 2 of my own designs. One, I made an ear warmer for my mom, and the other, I made a pillow, a decorative pillow to go into my living room. So let's get into how to create this pattern design. So first off, if you're using Google Sheets, what I like to do first is I like to make my columns smaller so it gives me a clear visual of what everything looks like. So I'm just going to highlight a bunch of columns so that I can resize them. So you just literally click on A and you just drag it on down. Then you're going to click this tab or this arrow. And what we want to do is we want to resize columns A through R. And I'm just going to pick a number. I'll pick 20 because I want them to be small. And let's see what it looks like. Okay, great. So A through R are pretty small. So it'll give me a clear visual on what my pattern looks like. I'm going to do a basic chevron pattern. Sometimes I like to look at Google to see what kind of grid designs are out there, and it kind of makes it easier for me to try to create my own, or I look up images that I can use to create my own. So let's do a quick chevron pattern. We're going to do it small. We're going to grid it out here, and then we're going to crochet it. So we can actually see what it looks like. So I'm going to do something small. So we're going to do 5 columns. And let's do about 15 rows. So I'm going to start off. I'm just going to make it a solid color. I'll use blue. I like this blue. I'll change it. I'll make like a lighter blue. And I'm going to make the chevron pattern, which kind of looks like arrows, right? So I want my first column here, my first row down at the bottom to be all blue. And so I'm going to start the chevron pattern from the row that says 14. So I'm going to do it by 4s. And I'm going to let's use like a pink or something. Yeah, I like this color, purplish pink. So I'm creating the chevron pattern. And we're just going to fill up the grid here to create our pattern. And this tells us what we need to do in each column and each row. So it makes it easier for us when we get down and dirty with crocheting. So I did my first row of color now, first row of purple. And now I'm going to do another row of blue. So I skip 4 and then I'm going to start the next 4 with purple. And I continue until I get to the very end. And then we will see what it looks like. So this is typically what I do to create my own patterns. And you'll have to play around with it, right? And it's very important to do a gauge. So anytime you're going to do a pattern, you want to do a gauge first with the yarn. It gives you an idea on how many rows you would essentially need to create in order to complete it. So generally speaking, I would first start off with a gauge. And then from there, I would then move on to Excel to figure out like how many rows, how many columns I would essentially need. So here goes my chevron pattern. And what I need to do now is I need to number my columns and I need to number my rows. I start numbering my rows down at the bottom here. So going up, because that's essentially the way that you're going to be working when you are creating your own. And then for my rows, I start from the right and work my way to the left. So this tells me that I'm going to do 5 chains, and then I'm going to do 15 columns. So down at the bottom tells me I'm going to do 5 chains, and at the top I'm going to do 15 columns. We're going to do Tunisian crochet, and we're only going to use 1 stitch to do this pattern. You could essentially use 2 different stitches if you like, but it might take a bit more math in order to figure out the appropriate number of stitches that you need to complete. So we're going to complete this using the simple stitch. So get your crochet hook, get your yarn of choice that you would use with that specific crochet hook, and let's get started making this pattern. So to start off, for our foundation row, we're going to start off by chaining 6. I know our grid tells us that we're going to start with 5, but we need to do 1 additional chain. So we chain 6 to start us off. So now we're going to start working in the loops that are in each chain, and we're going to pull up a loop into each so that our design kind of stays flat. You want to make sure that this is loose. So we put our hook underneath the loop, yarn over, and pull straight up. We're going to keep each of these loops onto our hook. So under the loop, yarn over, and pull it straight up. Remember, again, try your best to keep it as loose as possible so that it's not super tight, because if it's super tight, then your crochet design is going to start to curl up, and we want this to lay as flat as possible so that we can see the design nice and clear. All right, we're down at the end. So now we're going to do our return pass. It's a normal return pass. Make sure that you have 6 loops plus that additional 1. So for the return pass is yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we yarn over and pull through 2 until you are left with 1 chain on your hook. So now let's start with row 1. We're going to do the simple stitch. So we have a bar right here in the front. We want to put our hook underneath that bar, yarn over, and pull through. This is our simple stitch. We're going to do this in blue all the way across. So put our hook underneath the front bar, yarn over, pull up the loop, all the way till you get to the very end. Once we get to the very end, we want to make sure that our crochet hook goes into the last 2 chains there. Then we yarn over and we pull through. We're going to do our regular return pass here. So yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 until you're left with 2 chains on your hook. So we're going to begin to transition in preparation for the next row. So you're going to take out your second color. You're going to yarn over in that second color so that we can start the next row with that second color and pull through 2. Now at this point, we're going to start on our second row, which we're using our second color. So we're going to do our simple stitch in the first stitch. We're going to yarn over in the new color once we put our crochet hook through the front loop or the front bar. Then we're going to switch to our blue. So put the hook through the front bar and then yarn over in blue. We yarn over in blue for the next 2 stitches, so it should be 3 blue in total. And then we're going to move on to our next color, our second color. yarn over in that second color, and then we end the row by putting our hook through both loops and yarn over in that second color. So when we look at our crochet hook, we should have 2 in one color, 3 in the other color, 2 in the other color. Then we do our regular return pass. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're up to the second chain on our hook is in blue. So we need to yarn over in blue and pull through 2. We yarn over in blue, pull through 2, yarn over in blue, pull through 2. We see our second chain is in the mauve or the pinkish color. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and we have made it to the end. Now let's transition to row 3. We're going to follow that same technique. So simple stitch, our hook through the loop, yarn over in the mauve color, hook through the front bar, yarn over. Now we've transitioned into blue. We only have one blue for this row. Then we switch colors again. So we're going to yarn over in our mauve color or our rose color. We do that one more time, and then we end the row by putting our hook through both of the loops at the end, yarning over in that mauve color, and we do our regular return pass with our color switch. So yarn over, pull through 1, then yarn over, pull through 2, and just make sure that you are paying close attention. When you get up to that second loop and it changes color, you want to then transition to yarn over in that, whatever that second color is. So that's what you're paying attention to every time you're going to yarn over and pull through 2. Row 4, we're going to do a simple stitch all the way across in one color, and that color is the mauve or rose color. Regular return pass, so yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2 in one color all the way till you get to the very end. For row 5, we're going to repeat what we did for row 4. So we do our simple stitch in the mauve or one color all the way across. Our return pass is going to be slightly different because we are changing colors in the next row. So I'll see you back when you're left with 2 chains on your hook for your return pass.
Hey yo, Wayne, this is dope.
Alright, so we're left with the last 2 chains on our hook. We're going to swap colors. So we're yarning over in blue, and then we're going to pull through 2 so that in row 6 we're starting with blue. So now we do our simple stitch. Our first stitch is in blue. Our next 3 stitches are going to be in the mauve or the rose color. And then our last stitch is going to be in blue. And then we put our crochet hook in between the last 2 chains in that row. We yarn over in blue. And then we're going to do our return pass with our color switching. So yarn over, pull through 1 in blue, and then we're going to yarn over, pull through 2 in blue. And then we see that our second color on the crochet hook is the mauve, so we yarn over and pull through 2. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2 in that mauve again, yarn over, pull through 2 and mauve again, We have a color switch to blue, so now we're going to yarn over in blue, and we're going to pull through 2. We're going to yarn over one more time in blue and pull through 2. Now we're starting row 7. So row 7, we're doing the first 2 simple stitches are in blue, and then we have one simple stitch that's going to be in the mauve or rosé color. And then the last 2 simple stitches are going to be in blue. And then don't forget the last stitch. You're going to put your crochet hook in between the 2 loops at the end and yarn over in blue. Now our return pass for this one, we're going to yarn over, pull through 1 in blue. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2 in blue. Yarn over, pull through 2 in blue again. Now we have a color change coming up. So that second loop is the mauve color. So now we're going to yarn over in the mauve color and pull through 2 in that color. Then we have another color switch. So yarn over, pull through blue. Yarn over, pull through 2 blue. Yarn over, pull through 2 in blue. Moving on to row 8. Row 8's an easy one. We're using blue all the way across, so every single simple stitch across is going to be in blue. And you're going to do your regular return pass without any color changes coming across in blue. Row 9, we're doing the same exact thing that we did for row 1. So we're going to do a simple stitch in blue all the way across, and then for our return pass, we do our return pass all the way down back to the starting point in blue, except for the last 2 chains on our hook. When we have 2 chains left on our hook, that's when we're going to do our color change to our mauve color or rosé color, and then pull through 2 so that we're starting row 10 with that color change back with the mauve or the rosé color. To finish off rows 10 through 15, you're just going to follow the pattern for rows 2 through 7 to finish rows 10 through 15. And this is what you should look like for rows 1 through 9. All right, let's get to binding off. So once you've finished all 15, you're going to do this all in one color. So I'm picking blue. And so we are putting our hook in for a simple stitch, and then we're going to pull through both loops. So we're left with 1. So again, simple stitch, pull through both loops. Simple stitch, yarn over, pull through both loops. And you do this all the way till you get to the end. And this is how we end or complete the project. So if you choose to create a scarf, a blanket, whatever, this is how you're going to bind off. Once you've completed your last stitch, you're then going to pull up the loop. You're going to take your scissor, you're going to cut it here, and then weave in all of your loose ends. If you want me to create a video for any of the designs I've shown, put it in the comments. Thanks for watching.